Welcome to One Dude's Cooking and Gaming. Tonight we're making nachos. Are y'all ready to cook? Cause I sure am, so let's get to cooking. For the taco seasoning that we're gonna be making, it's 4 teaspoons of chili powder, half a teaspoon of ground cumin, 4 teaspoons of garlic salt, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, an 8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and 1 teaspoon of cornstarch. And for the nacho cheese, we need 4 teaspoons of butter, 4 tablespoons of butter, 4 tablespoons of flour, 2 cups whole milk, 12 ounces of cheddar shredded cheese, which is roughly 3 cups, a half teaspoon of salt, and a half teaspoon of chili powder. With the taco seasoning, we're going to have to combine them and add 1/3 cup of water to it in a mixing bowl. And then once we brown the meat, we're going to put the taco seasoning in the meat. After we do that, down in step 4, we have to, for the nacho cheese, we have to mix the butter and the flour first, and then we have to mix it in our in our saucepan, in our sauce pot. And then after that, we stir in the whole milk. Then we put in the cheddar, and once we put in the cheddar in handfuls, don't put it all in at once. And then once that is done, we put the salt and the chili powder in it. And then after we make the nacho sauce, we start building the nachos. And when you do that, we have to preheat the oven to 350, which I'm going to go ahead and do now because I forgot. And then we place the tortilla chips in our tin pans, which I'm going to leave right here. Then we're going to put taco meat evenly on all of the chips. And then I also have some black beans being made to go with it, which you put on top of the meat. And then you put the nacho cheese sauce and any extra shredded cheese that you want to put. And then next, with the final step, you have to put the toppings. You can top the nachos with your favorite toppings like salsa, jalapenos, and sour cream. Then after that, it's time to eat and enjoy. Now, we're going to mix all of our taco season. Mix all of this to make our taco seasoning. So first, we will put in the chili powder. Then next the cumin. Then the garlic salt and onion powder. Yeah, garlic salt and onion powder. Then we put in the cayenne, and then the cornstarch. You might have to beat it a little to make it come out, because it will kind of stick. Let me just get out a spoon or fork. Want to get a spoon so you can mix it when you're done. Then you put in the water. And then you mix until any lumps or any dry stuff is gone. It should be like a burgundy red if you've done it correctly. To brown the meat, we're gonna need three pound 3 pounds of ground beef, and you know it's brown when there is no pink left. So, once you get your meat brown, it should be looking a little right like this. You're gonna want to put your taco seasoning in the meat. And when you do this, you're gonna want it to be a little lower in temperature-wise than the burner, be a little bit lower on the temperature scale, so it doesn't all vaporize. And then it should be like a lightly reddish color when you're done mixing. It can take a while because it's not a lot. Alright, for the nacho cheese, you're going to want to put in the flour and the butter. There's the flour. Can you hand me the spoon for the butter? No, that one. Thank you. And put this in, and you're gonna want to stir it kind of constantly, and you're gonna want it to get to like a fluffy consistency. A bubbly and foamy consistency. All evaporating. Are you able to get the... Okay. Then once it gets foamy and bubbly, you're going to want to add the milk. Can maybe it's gonna be kind of like looking like this for a little bit. And you're gonna want to cook this for about 60 seconds once it gets bubbly and foamy. And you're going to want to cook it on a medium, in between medium and low heat so it does not burn. You may have to put it on medium to get it to start bubbling, but once it starts mini bubbles like that, you're going to want to add the milk. And you stir. You stir the milk into the pot. Turn heat up to keep heat on what you had it. And we have to allow milk to come to a simmer while we keep stirring. Once it starts simmering, you're going to want to put the cheese in at a little bit at a time. Put it in at like handfuls at a time. So don't put too much. Don't put too much. Do about like that much, and then you're going to want to stir it. And wait for that little bit to melt. Once it does, you can put a little bit more. And it looks like that has already melted. So I'm going to put a little bit more in. A little bit more. Shouldn't hurt it. And you're going to want to stir that around. And it looks like that has melted in. Then we can put some more in. Maybe put a little bit, I might have put a little bit too much, but that's just fine. It's part of cooking. You may mess up, but you just try again. It's part of learning how to cook. And when you're doing this, you're not supposed to overheat the sauce. So if it starts like, when you're thinking you might be overheating it, you might want to turn it down a little. Like, I may be overheating it here, so I might want to turn it down a little. And that is starting to look good. And then once all of the cheese gets melted into the sauce, you want to put in your salt and chili powder. If sauce becomes a little too thick, you may want to add a little splash of milk. Alright, so first when you're building the nachos, you're going to want to put your tortilla chips in the aluminum container. Then next you put some meat in it and spread it out evenly. Then you put some beans if you want beans. Then you want to put the cheese on it next. Then, next, if you want jalapenos, you put some of those on. Then, if you want salsa, you can also put some of that on. That was one dude's cooking and gaming. Now it's time to eat.